napagsabihan po ako noon na kung gusto ko pong baguhin yung pulisiya ng pangolekta to PTA, gumawa na po ako ng batas. Now, I don't have to. Dahil nakita ko na po, very clear na sa akin, na meron naman pala talagang batas. Kaya lang, yung batas na yun ay hindi na-implement. Republic Act 4206 noong 1965 na enact yan, which prohibits collection and even voluntary or otherwise from elementary schools sa public schools.
So the department order has the very same policy. No fee, no collection. The department and all their subordinates, meaning the teachers, are not allowed to initiate or to tolerate these collection efforts. But this does not prevent the parents from having their own fundraising. This system has been practiced for decades. Ayan, finally lumakas. This system has been practiced for decades, and it has been a private initiative of the parents that has allowed many projects to see the light. No, anything from gate, fencing, gardening, events. It's a PTA initiative, and I think that's why it was mentioned that if there is a desire to change that policy, there must be a law, because currently the DepEd order is consistent with the existing law mentioned by His Honor.
Okay, Mr. President, may I ask the good sponsor kung sabihin niya sa akin yung bang department order na yon at saan po doon sa dalawang batas na binanggit ko, RA 4206 and RA 5546, alin doon na nagsasabing pinapayagan na mangolekta ang mga eskwelahan o mga magulang para sa kontribusyon sa eskwelahan. Can you please show it to me?
I'll go back to what the Republic Act states. It prohibits collection and contribution from students. And so the policy of DepEd has been to allow the PTAs to follow their own guidelines wherein contributions among the parents are allowed. So to be clear, just to be clear, Mr. President, importante po na maliwanag yung pagsagot ko sa napakamahalagang tanong ng ating kasamahan. Bawal talaga ang pagkolekta sa estudyante, and that is being honored by DepEd. In other words, hindi pwedeng maglabas ang DepEd, ang principal, ang teacher ng request or request for contribution na ibinibigay sa estudyante. Bawal po talaga yun.
Bawal.
But,
so kung bawal po, bakit po
correct.
nangongolekta pa rin sila sa mga estudyante, especially po sa mga
Mr.
hirap?
President, I would like to clarify, never po sila nangongolekta sa estudyante. Wala po silang collection sa estudyante. Ang meron, so that we can identify the issue.
I beg to disagree, ma'am. Ito po, lahat naman nagsumbong sa akin.
Sir, the issue, I don't
These are the list of parents na nagsumbong sa akin, iba't ibang eskwelahan sa buong Pilipinas, na kung saan sila po ay sapilitang kinokolektahan ng mga electric fan at kung ano pang mga gamit sa eskwelahan, na meron man pong budget sa MOE ang DepEd for those things.
Yes. Mr. President, first of all, may I request that that list is submitted
I'll be
so
more than
that
happy to
we
give it
can
to you.
give it to DepEd, kasi I believe they have committed in the hearing pa lang na any violation po, iimbestigahan naman po nila. They made that commitment po. The only item left for the discussion on the floor right now is yung authority mismo ng PTA. So any direct contribution o collection sa estudyante, talaga hong iimbestigahan nila. So tama, ang pagkaintindi ko, Mr. President, sa issue is, so si PTA ba pwedeng mangolekta? And ang sinasabi po sa atin ng DepEd, the policy since 1969 has been to recognize the PTA's authority to decide among themselves. They have their own rules, they have their own guidelines to do their fundraising, that is a generic term that I'm using, among the parents. Hindi to sa bata, hindi apektado yung pagpasok ng bata, hindi apektado ang grade ng bata. Bakit ginagawa ng parents yun? Kasi kulang ang pondo. The fact that there is no provision that expressly prohibits the PTA from pursuing their mandate is in itself an accepted principle that there is no violation. It is a rule of statutory construction that what is not expressly or impliedly prohibited by law may be done. So yan ho ang ating statutory constructions when it comes to prohibited acts. So pag sinabi po natin bawal ito, then we need to produce that law that prohibits it. And so we do have yung dalawang RA na binanggit naman ng ating kasamahan. Meron nga hong RA na nagbabawal.
Yes.
But that is why I have been repeatedly explaining that since 1969, ang implementation ng ating DepEd dito, they believe that they have been implementing this in the true spirit of the law na nagsasabing bawal mangolekta sa bata. They cannot collect contributions from school children, students, and teachers. Yun ho ang specific wording of the law.
Ito pa po, para sa kalaman ng marami, kuminsan pinapahiya pa po yung mga estudyante, nagkakaroon po ng group chat. Nakalista doon sa group chat, sino-sino mga nagbigay at sino-sino pa hindi nakapagbigay. So yung mga hindi nakapagbigay, peer pressure is either gagawa ng remedyo para makapagbigay, masama sa listahan, matanggap ng grupo, or hindi na napapasok kasi napapahiya sila, magda-drop out na lang. Sayang yung feeding program. So what I'm trying to say here, Mr. President, napakasimple lang naman eh. Okay lang may PTA. In fact, wala akong wala akong against it sa PTA. Use it properly. Dapat yan talagang nababantayan ng DepEd. Dapat yung PTA, gamitin lamang yan para pag-usapan po yung pong mga problema ng mga estudyante at mga guro.
The policy of DepEd is very clear. They have a no toleration policy on the collection from students. So, itong huling mga nabanggit ng ating kasamahan na yung mga estudyante.
Kaya nga po kami pumunta sa public school dahil wala po kami pambayad sa private school. Sila po ay mga tricycle driver, pedicab driver, labandera, kasambahay, factory worker, na mga underpaid, na maliliit lamang sweldo. Salamat nga, sinabi ni Secretary Yusek Poa, and I commend you for saying that, yung programa nyo yan na merong feeding program para hindi na po tumaas pa yung cases ng dropout para ma-entice yung mga magulang na papuntahin sa eskwela ng kanilang estudyante dahil meron ng pagkain. Gutom kasi sila, kaya hindi sila pumapasok, pero kung bigyan mo ng pagkain, papasok na sila. However, pagdating naman sa school, yung libreng pagkain, parang siningil mo lang dahil pagbabayarin mo para sa kung ano ng contribution.
Sir, ano po yung tanong nyo?
I'm just making a statement, Mr. President, Your Honor, kung ano po yung sentimiento ng mga pumunta sa akin ng mga magulang, libo na po sinasabi po sa akin. So what I'm saying is, we have to stop this wrong policy na kung saan nagbabiolate ng law ang kung ano-ano pong department order na ipinapalabas po ng DepEd para lamang pipilitin na makakolekta sa mga estudyante. Sabi pa nga ni Minority Leader Coco Pimentel, pag kinolekta mo estudyante, wala naman pera yung mga estudyante, parang sino kinokolektahan mo talaga? In essence, yung mga magulang. So, for me, change that policy. Huwag na tayo mangolekta. Zero collection na talaga, voluntary or otherwise, tulad na nakalagay sa batas. Okay? Except for Red Cross, Girl Scout, Boy Scout, and Barrio High School. Let's stick to what the law says. I-stop na natin yan. Huwag na tayo magpalabas ng mga department order para we try to circumvent the law para makakolekta. Tuloy, ang duda nitong mga magulang, baka siguro gusto nilang magpalabas ng kung ano mga department order para makakolekta sapagkat gusto nilang yung MOE hindi na makarating sa mga eskwelahan. Now, may I add, Mr. President, Your Honor, kung sasabihin nyo lang sa akin ngayon na kayo po ay mag-issue ng department order telling all schools under DepEd, let's stick to 5546, period. And I will sit down. Otherwise, kapag hindi, magpipilit kayo, abutin tayo dito hanggang madaling araw. And I will not stop because I know I'm right.
Mr. President, just a short response. The policy of DepEd is very clear. They have a no toleration policy on the collection from students. So, itong huling mga nabanggit ng ating kasamahan na yung mga estudyante, nagko-collect, paulit-ulit din na sinasabi sa akin ni Vice President, DepEd Secretary na, no, they will not tolerate that and they commit to investigate that.
Thank you.
So, clear po tayo dyan. On that note, may I ask for a minute suspension, Mr. President?
Thank you.
Session suspended for 1 minute.
Mr. President, I'd like to thank our colleagues. I asked for a minute suspension to also gather the wisdom of the Senate. And I'd like to commend our colleague, Senator Tulfo, for raising this very important issue. We also took the opportunity to ask DepEd what actions, if any, have they taken upon receipt of similar complaints. And they confirmed that upon receipt of similar complaint, they have received similar complaints, and they have actually suspended airing PTAs. So on that note, Your Honor, they are prepared to issue a department order strengthening the law.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's all, Mr. President, Your Honor. Thank you. On behalf of the thousands and thousands and thousands of parents who have students in public elementary school, would like to thank DepEd and the sponsor na magpapalabas na po kayong department order para to strengthen the law.